Hey, we're here at the Florida GOP Freedom Summit with Congressman Matt Gaetz, and you guys might think I'm going to talk to him about some big stuff, but it's actually the stuff happening here locally. Your dad is just announced that he's going to run for Senate again, second go ballot. What's your thoughts on it?
I'm so excited. My dad is returning to the Florida Senate. He's a legend in Northwest Florida. He's been a great advocate for parents and our education system. And if we look at the reasons why so many people want to be Floridians, my dad's had a hand in crafting a lot of those policies, from our tax policies to our environmental and infrastructure policies. So I think he'll be a wealth of knowledge for our state and certainly for our community. And I love campaigning with my dad again. Last time I was campaigning with my dad, it was like 2010. So it's good to have the band back together.
What do you think he'll bring to the table specifically when he wins? He's going to win election. When he gets to the Senate, what do you think is going to bring to the table on day one?
Well, the only way to run for office is unopposed and terrified.
Yeah.
Right now he's unopposed, but I know he's not taking it for granted. He's actually out there, if you can believe it, going to rallies, knocking on doors, calling voters. I think he'll bring a wealth of experience and knowledge. I think my dad has really been one of the principal architects of the Florida success story, and now we've got a chance to build on that, and he'll be a great contributor to the team.
What does the Florida legislature do better than just about any legislator in the nation?
Everything. I miss my days in the Florida legislature so much. The ability to have single subject bills is really essential to effective governing. It's frankly what I've been fighting for in Washington, D.C. I wish the federal Congress operated more like our state legislature. If so, we'd have lower taxes and balanced budgets and a more thoughtful review of the proposals that come before us. So while I'm trying to infect Washington with a little bit of Tallahassee, I'm glad my dad is getting back into public service for the benefit of our community.
Last week, Joe Biden used Korean War-era defense powers to issue executive order in the dark of night that regulates AI and hinders innovation. Clearly, we need privacy and transparency around AI, but do you support Biden's aggressive anti-business, pro-China actions?
Well, let's be clear. I wouldn't trust Joe Biden to program the clock on a microwave. So we're expecting Joe Biden to lay out the AI policies. There have been good, productive discussions in a bipartisan and bicameral way about how we think about AI, but I think a lot of these executive orders put the cart before the horse, and they will limit us in our competition with China. So I'm very concerned about governing by executive order in this way, and I'm 100% certain that Joe Biden does not understand even the most basic concepts around AI.
Now, there are growing hubs for tech in Florida, mainly in Tampa, Orlando, Miami, where tech is creating jobs and driving economic growth. What are your thoughts on the best way to maintain our technological edge in the face of fierce competition from China?
In my community, having Lambda Rail capabilities for high-speed internet, critically important to bring in tech assets and tech companies. I want Florida to be a tech center. I just hope all the tech bros that show up in the Sunshine State leave their Democrat voter registration cards wherever they're leaving to get to our great tax environment, to our great regulatory environment. I think also cost of living is something that a lot of companies look at in Florida when thinking about locating here. Costs related to energy and insurance are rising, and they're rising in a way that put a lot of pressure on Florida businesses and Florida families, so we've got to do a good job controlling those costs as well.
My last question is, what are Floridians telling you after all this speaker drama came to an end? What's the reaction we're getting?
There is a real sense of hope and opportunity because we now have a House Speaker who is not totally owned by the special interests. He didn't want this job his whole life, and so a lot of the corrupt influences of Washington, D.C. don't have their hooks in Mike Johnson. So he won't agree with me on every single thing, but I have someone in the Speaker's office now who is brilliant and a constitutional lawyer and a man of God, and I have the opportunity to make my case and hope that we can bring the House of Representatives into the conservative posture that many of the activists here are excited about.
My favorite headline after all that happened was Mike Johnson in debt, has credit card debt, has this. And I'm like, oh, he's a normal guy?
Yeah, I mean, Mike Johnson's got 5 kids. He's put them through LSU for the most part, but it still costs a lot of money. And I think he will understand the problems of a lot of Americans. He's been a state lawmaker. He's been a federal lawmaker for the last several years, and he'll do a great job for us. I'm really optimistic and hopeful.
Matt Gaetz, everyone. Congressman Matt Gaetz, appreciate it.
Thank
you.
Good seeing you, man.
Yeah, it was good seeing you.